Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Comanche with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've made it through this week's X-Men and Avengers books. Now it's going to move on to Spider-Man and Star Wars. Kicking these off, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 38. Where we left off, the demon Repo had managed to track down and, well, repossess, so to speak, Wreck-Rap. However, as Repo appears to have at the moment unknown connection to Peter Parker, well, he went after Peter as well, as Repo had apparently also kidnapped Randy Robertson. It caught Peter and, well, ate him. Ate is being very simplistic about it. So the issue opens with Peter being swallowed by Repo. Basically, kind of a questions you never want to ask. How is a sausage made? Where do the demons go after Repo eats them? And so, inside Repo are the Sinister Syndicate analogs from Limbo, as well as Wreck-Rap. With Wreck-Rap regaling them with various tales of daring do when Spidey shows up. Apparently, time moves at a different pace in Limbo. Or at least inside Repo. So Repo returns to where he's keeping Randy and is talking about his life before. And it's basically explained that one day inside Repo is approximately 10 seconds on Earth. But Wreck-Rap and Spider-Man managed to get out of Repo. And Spidey finally realizes just who it is Repo is. The collections agent from early on in the series, in this run, who was apparently taken in the lead up. At least I think in the lead up it was to Dark Web. But while dealing with Wreck-Rap, while Wreck-Rap and Spider-Man deal with Repo, Repo once again opens a cavernous maw that is his mouth, and Spidey has an idea. First, part of it coming from Wreck-Rap stuffing a couch inside of Repo's mouth, but what if Repo collected himself? One end of web line onto a nightstand, the other end onto Repo's mask. Both ends going into Repo's giant mouth. And it does seem to do the trick. So they return to the Limbo embassy, and they explain to Madeline Pryor what's happened, and okay, all right, and she's actually rather glad that Wreck-Rap and Spider-Man have brought to her attention the extracurricular activities of Repo, who is currently being punished with extracurriculars, but Wreck-Rap gets a good old-fashioned hero's welcome. And you'd think that's where the story ends. Except, well, there's a gang war coming, and, well, that needs a much different tone. And so, at Gracie Mansion, Randy Robertson's talking with Mayor Cage, and he points out, he says that you know, in a month he's almost been killed twice by something that only a superhero had a chance of stopping. So he's kind of feeling like former Mayor Fisk's law is a threat to public safety, and it needs to be off the books now. And Mayor Cage is not unsympathetic. And that he states that Randy's doing what he can, making noise, getting the message out, but no one sees it as a pressing issue. Mayor's stalled out, unless the volume can be somehow turned up. So Randy goes on TV and states that Fisk's law was written by a criminal and it does nothing but protect criminals. Respects every law-abiding citizen in New York. Hammerhead sees this and he says that Randy's a stupid kid is going to ruin a good thing. As he gets a report from some of his men that Lady Yulon has been hit. They've hit Lady Yulon as ordered while wearing masks from Mr. Negative's goons. It's also stated that they, as Lady Yulon is a vampire, well, her henchmen are vampires too, and, well, they got some holy water, and so the priest that blessed the water is getting a nice donation. The next day, Hammerhead has a series of meetings. First with Lady Yulon. Lady Yulon intends to hit Mr. Negative back. But Hammerhead says, he heard that Mr. Negative had hit Lady Yulon, and that somehow he's more bloodthirsty than she is. But the thing is, only Hammer has the resources to keep Mr. Negative in line, so Yulon should let him handle it. Then, meanwhile, Mr. Negative has issues with the Owl. The Owl is still mad about Red Hook and thinks that Black Mariah was behind it. Black Mariah, well, she wants to, she's meaning to learn, it seems she wants to expand into Tombstone's territory. And Hammerhead figured that's something that should be able to happen soon, though apparently no one told Tombstone's daughter that Harlem's up for grabs. At the Harlem Hospital Center, Janice Lincoln is visiting her father, explaining that Janice had hit Black Mariah's crew, get her to back off. She's pretty sure that Mariah got the hint. Diamondback's been making noise too, waiting to show if Tombstone, if Lincolns show weakness. Randy comes in to see Janice, but and asks if does she think this is what Tombstone would have wanted for her. And then she leaves the hospital room. Apparently, they both have trouble saying the word, saying our wedding after what happened. Well, their failed attempt at a wedding. And she says goodbye to him. In the Seat of Power, Silvermane and Count Nefaria are watching events when Silvermane is controlled into attacking Nefaria, and then into removing his own head from his cybernetic body. Someone walks up saying that gang war sounds kind of fun, and that is where the issue ends. So, just who is this mysterious new player? Well, seeing as how Gang War First Strike comes out next week, we may be closer to finding out the answer to that next week. Solid issue, though. I'm glad that a decision was made to keep the two stories separated, because the Spider-Man Rec Rep story, the tone of it would have it wouldn't have worked well to do the two, couple pages from the Spider-Man Rec Rep, couple pages of Gang War setup. It would not have worked to have those like that. So yeah. Excuse me. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Carnage, #1. Where we last saw Carnage, he had practically ascended to godhood. Pretty much, we're talking about the symbiote, not the symbiote and Cletus Cassidy. He had pretty much managed to overcome all of the symbiote's weaknesses, fighting his way across the multiverse, and he has attained godlike power. So the issue begins in Omnipotent City, nexus of the gods, a place of divine fellowship, and well, yeah, Carnage has turned the place into making a bloodbath out of the place. To the Lord Librarian, it's in the library that this is apparently occurring. The Lord Librarian and his guards are holding Carnage off, with the Lord Librarian stating that Carnage came to the Hall of All Knowing, seeking what all who come there seek: answers. Though, however, the librarian adds that Carnage does not have the courage to articulate the question he wants to ask. That question being if he is a god or not. The librarian asks Carnage what his purpose is. And the librarian sends him through the singularity of his staff, which causes Carnage to land in Riker's Island. Potentially the same cell that he was born in. That he kills the current occupant and then recreates Cletus Cassidy. The two of them bond, and across town, Flash Thompson gets the feeling that something's wrong. Cletus basically catches up on years of progress. Not all of at least progress of sorts. And goes to eat, stopping at a small diner. Asking various questions of the waitress. And the girl's polite. Her initial response to practically any question she's asked is curiosity as to whether or not she's pissed off his customer. But he pays, leaves he was while sitting there reading the Bible and apparently making some edits. He leaves the Bible as well as money for the food and a tip, and starts going after and starts tracking down people. First off, a man named John, who was found seemingly having hung himself in his home. Next, there's Thomas, who fights and loses. Cletus then visits a young boy, a teenager in a prison who attempted to commit a mass shooting. No one ever talked about it because there were 3 other mass shootings that very day. And Carnage kills him as well. Flash seems to still be on edge. Ends up getting kicked out of his local watering hole when a fight breaks out. He tries to break up the fight himself, though he's not the bouncer. Next, Cletus goes after a tech millionaire named Nathaniel Jones, putting him in what appears to be a plastic cell, which soon enough fills with what I think is supposed to be boiling water. Flash, while leaving the pub, sees this happening on social media and well, Venom's up to go check it out, realizing that Carnage is back. And that is where the issue ends. I'm glad that Flash is going to be a seemingly major player in the series. I hate to say it, but I kind of felt like since King in Black, Flash Thompson was brought back for the sake of let's bring back Flash Thompson. But so I'll start. We'll see how the series plays out. Moving on to our next book, we've got Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 40. Where we left off, things were not looking good for our titular group of bounty hunters. Valance had betrayed them. Valance had been had his members completely wiped, and even killed one of their recent additions to the crew. Tonga sends a message to her wife, Losha, in part apologizing for what's happened, but also let her know what's going on. Boss suggests that they cut their losses. But Tonga insists they're seeing it through the end. But most of the banners don't seem to be really on board with that. But they arrive at Epiconia. And shortly after the hunters off the ship, Dirge attacks Zuckuss. Tonga is also betrayed by Boss, no less. And as the ship lifts lifts off. Bosk is told he made the right choice, though he's not so sure. And the droids on Upconia come upon Zuckuss and Tonga. However, elsewhere, Lieutenant Hayden has managed to back up all of Valence's memories. Though it would seem that some of her fellow officers aren't entirely amenable to that. She fights through the group that have come to stop her, incapacitating or killing the lot. Makes her way up. Makes her way through the Star Destroyer, presumably to a shuttle. Apparently, noticing that Vader's present. Vader, having been having given himself to the Scourge, and so Lieutenant Hayden runs over to Vader's shuttle, and the issue ends with Tonga talking to the Scourge-possessed or Scourge-controlled Valance. And it looks like she's going to be another test subject for the Scourge, moving from cyborgs or hybridds into full organics. So clearly, Bosk is going to once again switch sides, though I get the feeling that Tonga's not going to be as welcoming, unless it really works out well. But overall, the Dark Droids times are getting good. We've got one more. Our last moment is D Squad number 3. Where we'd left off, IG-88 had claimed Triple Z and BT. And BT-1 for a bounty. But a Scourge-controlled cyborg showed up going after R2. Zuckuss had also 4LOM had arrived on the planet as well, and with both 4LOM and R2 were trying to convince IG-88 to work with them. But basically R2 manages to charter IG-88's ship, while it seems that BT has been restored from exposure to the pod racer power coupling, has returned BT-1 to his base programming, though he's not happy about that. Zuckuss adds 4LOM adds briefly talks about running through the Droid Scourge at Cluxton Station. The droids of the Second Revelation are also brought up, though no one seems to know where they are. However, there's someone who might that R2 knows. an astromech named QTKT, who served alongside a Jedi back during the Clone Wars, and well, while talking with 4LOM about her, 4LOM suggests that perhaps R2 has the closest thing a droid could have to feelings for QT, and however, multiple scourge-infested droids come after them, and droids, well, D-Squad attacks them, with QTKT popping off the top of her astromech dome, which appears to be a drone, before being blasted by a dark trooper. And that is where the issue ends. So I'm assuming that, or I think it was in Dark Droids number 3 or 4, most recent issue, that D-Squad did roll up on Ajax Sigma. So I'm guessing that that occurs in D-Squad number 4. But anyways, that's to do it for this week. Or, not for this week. That's to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.